Testing, testing, great. Now finally we are into the final video of this chapter 21, in which this time we are going to focus on the theory that we call QTM. Okay, now sometimes we call this the QTM, quantity theory of money. But before we can talk about the actual QTM, we need to take a look back at something that we look at in chapter 1 when you were in Form 4, our first lesson, right? When we talk about the circular flow. Okay, now let's look at the circular flow. Circular flow, on one hand, we have household, 係嘛？我哋 household 有一邊啦。On another hand, we have firms. Now remember, there are some exchanges between them. For example, here, firm and how a firm will give something to household. We call it goods and services. Right? Give them goods and services. Now, in turn, household would pay for them. We call this the so-called expenditure. 係咪？ Now, second, also, now for completeness sake, this is already enough for our purpose, but for completeness sake, remember, on the other hand, household also would provide the factor service, basically be a worker for firms, and firms would need to pay them back factor income. Okay, now you may be wondering, how come we are looking at this flow chart again? Now, because we need to focus on the red flow, the money flow. Okay, now you see, in the circular flow, money paid by household would eventually go back to the household. In other words, you see, money would actually form a cycle, right? It will circulate in the society from household to firm, then circulate back from firm to household. Right 嘛？你見到原來有一嚿錢 ，okay? There is some money supply in the society. It will just circulate in the flow, right? 係嘛？ Now, with this idea, we actually can quantify things. Here, nominal output would be the same as the total money circulated. This is what we say, right? Now, we say MV equals to PY. Now, let's break it down. M is money supply. V is velocity of circulation of money. Namely, how many times this money has circulated, right? Form a circle. 佢轉咗幾多次手啦 ？Okay? How many times it has passed from household to household to firm to household, household to firm to household, so on and so forth. 係咪不斷 pass 嚟 pass 去啦 ？This is the V, right? Now, by getting the total amount of money and circulated, we would then be able to estimate the value of the goods and services given to household. 係咪？我哋透過佢使咗幾多錢，呢嚿錢流動到幾多次，咪知道 goods 同 services 到底有幾多咯？個 value。Right? So here, MV equals to PY. Now, what is PY? P is price level. Y is output level. You can think of it like this. Output level, we call it the real output or the real GDP. So PY together would be what we call nominal output or nominal GDP. 原來即係咩意思 ？This is exactly the expenditure approach, CIGNX. But instead of breaking down into CIGNX, we just see money, how many times it has circulated, and the total amount of money circulated would be GDP. Right? Makes sense, right? This guy, MV equals to PY, we call it the equation of exchange. Remember, there is no theory involved. This is only a mathematical identity. 冇其他意思㗎啦，得唔得？係一個數學嘅關係嚟嘅。Now, if the previous 5 minutes you don't understand what I'm talking about, it's okay. You just need to remember MV equals to PY. End of story. 你記得 MV 就係 PY 得㗎啦。最背後嘅原意係唔需要知嘅。Okay? Now, with this equation of exchange, we are ready to move on to quantity theory of money. Now, here, look at this. MV equals to PY. There are 4 variables in this formula. So, let me ask you a question. What happens when money supply increases? You actually do not know because I haven't told you anything about V, about P and Y. So, if we freely let this formula floating, right, using the words that we used last video, then it is not useful. Now, instead, we are going to add some assumptions to the equation so that we can use this formula to do some prediction or explanation. So what exactly is explanation? Okay, now it traces back to a very long time ago. The so-called classical economists, they were very concerned with inflation for obvious reason, right? Purchasing power. And then they found that, you know what? Every time the central bank prints money, inflation, there will be inflation. They want to see how are the two of them related, and later on they come up with the idea of quantity theory of money to explain how money supply would lead to inflation or deflation. Okay, so this is the so-called original intent of the QTM. Now, let's see. QTM adds assumptions to the equation. Now, there are 2 sets of assumptions. Okay, namely, one is short run, one is long run assumption. Okay, now, in fact, let's look at the long run assumption first, because this is the older QTM, the classical one. Now, classical QTM, the long run QTM, what it says is that both V and Y would be constant in MV equals to PY. So, what would be the implication? The implication would be that when M increases, let's say by 10%, it would lead to increase in price level by the same proportion. 係咪？ Increasing money supply in the short run, in long run, will only result in a higher price level, right? They are positively related, proportional to each other. OK， 好嘛？嗱，呢個應該唔難明啊，係咪？呢個唔難明啊。嗱 ，but then later on, as we move on to the neoclassical economics, 新派啲㗎啦 they say, hey, you know what? Let's not just focus on long run. Let's look at short run, or sometimes they just call it QTM. Would be that we just assume V to be constant. So we would have the following conclusion. It says that when M increases, it leads to PY together increases. Increasing money supply would result in higher nominal output PY. But individually, we do not know anything about P or Y. Individually, we only know P and Y together will increase by the same amount of M. So this goes up 10%, PY also goes up by 10%. OK， 嗱係咁多啦 ，QTM 係呢啲嘅咋。 This is the end of QTM. No need to go any further. Remember, okay? Remember, there is one common factor. V in your syllabus in QTM will always be constant. Whenever you see V not constant, that answer must be wrong. 講完，總之 V 會變嘅一定係錯，得唔得？ Okay, so we have the long run version and short run version. Now remember, I just mentioned, right? QTM, it always says change in money supply leads to. Now this is a very important word. 係導致啊 leads to change in price level. You cannot interchange them. You cannot revert them. You can't say change in price level leads to a change in money supply. No. Money supply always goes first. Later, then second would be price level. 一定 MS 行先，得唔得？ So this is the only thing you need to be careful with the so-called QTM. Now, when we talk about short run and long run, I think some of you already thinking, is it the same as ADAS? Now, obviously, it must be the same. 喂，如果唔同就大件事啦。If the results are different, then one of them is wrong. 咁即係你學有一樣嘢錯啦，係咪？ So they must be the same. Now here, let's look at what happens. Let's say money supply goes up. In your ADAS chapter, you will remember it means interest rate would decrease, meaning the cost of borrowing would decrease, leading to more consumption or investment. Now, therefore, AD would increases. Now, if you remember in our ADAS chapter, in short run, AD increase would lead to price level increase and output level increase. Now, although QTM short run, we do not know anything about it, but we are certain PY, the so-called nominal output, will increases. So this one matches with the short run QTM. Now what about long run? If you remember, in long run, increase in AD would make price level goes up. But when it comes to long run, we are talking about the YF, full employment output level. Would it change? No. It can only be changed by LRAS, not AD. 記唔記得？ This is exactly the same result as the classical QTM. 係咪啊？ Only P would change, Y would not change. Therefore, this is the similarity. 係咪？應該要互通㗎。如果唔通就大件事啦，即係是打一個錯啦，係咪？ Alright then. 係㗎 this is QTM. Nothing more. 講完㗎啦。I don't know why. Some teachers will use 2 or 3 days to teach QTM. I don't know why. I really do not understand why. Okay? This is QTM in essence. Okay? 好嘛？咁我哋 let's finish this chapter by looking at some more questions on QTM. Okay? 嗱嚟啦噃。Now, classical QTM, remember, we talk about classical, meaning long run. So both V and Y are constant. 好嘛？ Now, predicts that. Now, when V and Y are constant, what does that mean? It means that when M increases, P also increases. Right? Now, predicts that the change in money supply may have no effect on general price level. No. It must have effects, like we say already, right? 係咪啊？嗱，數學關係嘅啫 ，very mathematical in nature. No, one is wrong. Now, 2 predicts that change in nominal national income (PY) is positively related to the change in money supply. Yes, exactly. 係咪啊 ？M 升10%, PY 升10%, right? Positively related. Assumes the velocity of circulation is constant. Yes, 2 and 3 will be the answer. OK， 好嘛？嗱 ，next question. Now in the long run, OK， 嘛，a change in money supply will not affect which one? Price level, would it affect? Yes, it would affect. Remember, money supply increases, price level increases. Okay, so will be affected. Real output, yes, it doesn't affect output, real output, right? If you remember, Y will be constant. Nominal demand for money. Now, whenever you see the word nominal would be affected by price level. Now, therefore, when price level increases, this guy should also increases. 記住啦 nominal. Whenever we say nominal, it has something to do with price level. Okay, so answer is B here. Now, sample paper. Now, during unemployment. Now, here we need to do some translation. Now, what does unemployment means? When we are having unemployment, using our ADAS concept, we are talking about in a short run situation. Why? Because unemployment would imply there is an deflationary gap. 嗱，唔知記唔記得啊 ？deflationary gap meaning Y is smaller than YF. Or in my video, I actually call it underperforming. 係嘛？ It's underperforming. Right? Now, when it's underperforming, an increase in money supply will not raise something. Right? Short run up. Right? Short run up. Let's use QTM. MV equals to PY. V is constant. Now, therefore, increase in money supply should together make PY increases. Right? Now, therefore, nominal national income must increase. Now, what about real national income and price level? In fact, using QTM, we do not quite know. There may be situation when this is right and this is right, but we are not sure about when. So the answer is actually D, potential income, or using our ADAS term would be YF. Because YF can only be affected through LRAS, not AD. Okay? 好嘛? So, D, potential income will not be raised. 好嘛? Alright, now, next one. Practice paper. We are talking about which statement about classical long run is incorrect. Now, let's see. Velocity, real output, assumed to be constant. Correct. Change in money supply lead to 記唔記得啊？呢個 money supply lead to same proportional change in nominal output. Correct. Deflation meaning money supply decreases. No. Deflation meaning price level decreases. When there is a continuous fall in money supply, yes. This is QTM, right? So answer is D. Any change in price level will lead to the same proportional change in money supply. It says change in price level lead to change in money supply. This is wrong because the arrow is going the other way round. Okay? Lead to is wrong. It always money supply lead to change in nominal output, not the other way round. OK 得唔得？嗱呢個啦，唔係好難啫。Here, next one, next page. Now here, the real output grows at a lower rate than the money supply according to QTM. Now when you see QTM, immediately we write down MV equals to PY. Now V is always constant. It says real output grows. Right? Yes. It is increasing. But at a lower rate than money supply. Now therefore, money supply increasing more. In order to balance this equation, what happens to the price level? Price level must also be increasing. right? 係嘛? To balance this equation. Now, therefore, price level is increasing. Nominal output is increasing. PY 啊嘛，係咪? Yes, 1 and 4. Now, take a look at here. What about 2 and 3? First of all, 2. Velocity decreasing. Whenever you see velocity changing, it must be wrong. 唔使問啦，唔使諗啦。Another thing, unemployment rate is decreasing. Remember, QTM does not concern unemployment. It says nothing about unemployment. Only ADAS will say something about unemployment. But this is according to QTM. QTM says nothing about unemployment. So, how do we know? Right? Number 2, a big question mark. 好嗎? Alright, now next one. Suppose the velocity remains constant. 嗱，佢講明就係 velocity remains constant 啦 right? Now here, therefore, if m increases by 10%, what happens? We know PY should increase by 10% too. Now, let's see. Price level, decrease. Decrease. Right? Now, let's look at C first. Nominal output, PY, may decrease by less than 10%. No, it must be 10%. Okay? Must be 10%. So, it's not correct. Now, A and B. A, price level will decrease by 10%. Or real output will decrease by 10%. Remember, we only know PY together will be decreased by 10%. We do not know them individually. So, this will. How do I know how many percent? So, answer is actually D. May decrease by less than. Yes, may is correct. There is a chance that real output decreased by 2%. Then the price level decreased by 8%. Then together decreased by 10%. Something like that. Okay, it's totally possible. Oh, 好嘛，所以啊 D 啦。Now, 2015. QTM implies that, let's see. A, increase in money supply will lead to a rise in price level when real output is falling. Now, let's see here. QTM, right? MV equals to PY. V is constant. Implies increase in money supply will lead to a rise in price level when output level is falling. Now you see, this one increase, this one decrease. How do we balance this equation? To balance it, price level must increase by a whole lot to balance this equation. Yes, A is correct. Now what about B? Economy always have full employment. Employment, how do I know? Big question mark. Okay. Now C, increase in money supply lead to decrease in velocity. When you see velocity change, no, 一定係錯。Velocity 冇得變。D, increase in money supply will lead to a same proportional increase in real output. Wrong. It should be nominal output, not real output. Okay. Answer A here. 好嘛？嗱，差唔多啦，爭兩題啊。Now, into the final page. Now, let's look at the final question first, okay? The final question, according to the QTM, when central bank increase money supply, remember, we always say nominal output will increase. 啊，呢個唔解咯，好嘛？講咗好多次啦。Money supply increase, nominal output increase. Of course, we leave the best for the last. 2016. 2016年 You should smell trouble now, right? Now here, according to classical QTM, meaning M increases, P increases. 係嘛? Which of the following diagram is correct? When money supply is growing at a constant percentage each year. Now remember, it's talking about growing. Each year is increasing. Each year. Okay, so money supply going up, then price level should go up. Therefore, this A is incorrect because the Correct answer should be this one, the red line. Okay, now B, we know classical real output should be like this. 係嘛? So, wrong, wrong. Now, the difficult part is C or D. C or D. Remember what is inflation rate. Inflation rate is the percentage change. Now, according to the question, the percentage change each year is constant. Therefore, the curve should be flat because it is a constant growth. Okay? If C, this means growing at a faster rate. It increases exponentially, something like that. Okay? So, answer is D, because this is a constant percentage change. Okay? 好嘛? And with that, finally, we are totally done with chapter 21. Okay, so for this video, we have talked about the QTM. Remember this table, QTM, nothing too difficult. You just need to remember the assumptions and remember change in money supply leads to a change in price level. Okay, and with that, let's end our long series of video here. See you again, hopefully in school. Okay, 好嗎？拜拜。